Thinking before speaking and is something I find very difficult. But is it really? I believe that if I put this into practice, people would react very differently when talking to me. Because instead of hearing a comment off off of the top of my head, we'll hear a more intensive and focused comment. Like I think that people they don't put this into practice. Thinking before speaking. They don't put this into practice, you know. At least I don't think so. When people have a conversation, they speak what's on the top of their mind. They speak impulsively, you know, and it takes practice. I think that it's possible, you know, to give an educated response toward a certain, you know, a certain comment, and that although that it takes practice, that it's possible, and that it could become part of my personality. You know, I could get used to it, and like since throughout my life I've had this, how would you say it, this way of speaking, you know, impulsively, you know, speaking, you know, what's on the top of my head, you know. It takes practice because of that, because I'm so used to, you know, I'm accustomed to speaking the way I speak, you know. And so like I need to practice. I need to put it into, how would you say it, I need to put in that extra effort, you know, to practice, to take a pause, a small pause before, you know, responding toward, you know, a comment, you know, responding toward an individual that I'm having a conversation with, you know, to put it into practice, to think, to, how would you say it, to analyze what a person is saying, to be able to respond correctly in the most correct manner possible. And I think that if I put in this extra effort, if I practice, you know, on thinking before I speak, I think that, you know, that it's going to take effort, but that sooner or later, after a couple years, you know, 5, 10 years, it'll become part of my personality, you know. I think that it's, how would you say it, that it's just a matter about pausing, about taking 5 seconds before actually speaking, you know, and that sooner or later, that it won't take them 5 seconds. It'll take 1 second, you know, but that I think that, you know, it's something that normal people do not do. I think that it is an aspect that I would like to add to my character.